Good morning, and we are so excited to be able to come and talk about uh, strategic planning today from the Department of Diversity and Inclusion. This is certainly an opportunity that we felt we needed to take advantage of due to the COVID-19 pandemic crisis that has occurred not only in our own community, but as well, COVID has affected people across the world. We certainly wanted to be at the forefront of being able to provide solutions and information to our business community, most especially when we talk about the MWBE minority women business enterprises who are struggling and are challenged. And so we're looking forward to sharing some tidbits and sharing some important solutions and information with our audience who has joined us on today that will be beneficial to them as they're navigating COVID-19. Let me take this opportunity to thank our guests who have joined us on this morning as well. Takesha McLean, thank you so much for being a part of this actually first webinar with guests. Takesha is the program manager for the Illinois State Authority, um, State Authority. I can't think of the
Illinois
commission.
State Toll Highway Authority.
Toll Highway. I'm sorry. Thank you for helping a brother out. And
Okay.
we're excited to have her. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience in regards to strategic planning as a program manager. Takesha, welcome to this webinar.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you having me on the webinar to speak about strategic planning. And I
Yeah,
hope I can provide some advice to some individuals and businesses to be able to help them navigate through the storm of COVID.
sure. Yeah, looking forward to it. And last but not least, we have the CEO of Consuela's tax and accounting and tax firm, Consuela Hopkins. Consuela, welcome to our webinar. We have been waiting for your arrival as well and anticipating you being on the show to share with us some tidbits and some powerful information today.
Well, thank you so much, Michael, for having me. It is a pleasure. I think I hear a little feedback.
If you all turn your mics down just a little more, one more.
All right.
And then if you'll mute yourselves until I get to you, then that would probably help us as well.
Yeah, but I'm definitely looking forward to, even talking with the other panelists and about the COVID-19, but strategic planning and how we overcome and win through the storm. So I'm excited and thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So as we, dive into this webinar, the show today, certainly as we set the tone, we understand that we are experiencing what is called a pandemic crisis. And it has now been 8 weeks, approximately 8 weeks that we have been working remotely and/or COVID has affected certainly the small businesses as well, affected others in many different kind of ways. In any respect, COVID has brought our community and people around the world to a screeching halt. And though we are, 8 weeks again into this, and we've kind of learned some things on how to navigate it in some senses, we still have a ways to go. And I believe COVID is going to travel with us, at least the effects and the challenges for several weeks out. And it's important for us as a department, when we talk about diversity and inclusion, to be on the forefront of that and helping small businesses, helping entrepreneurs, most especially MWBEs, to be able to successfully navigate this crisis and this cash crunch that has been created for everyone. And so as we set the tone for that, certainly I want to be able to raise some questions to the two of you as we now dive in. So when we think about this, I come from the perspective that there is no time better than now to start thinking strategically. Um, I think every business, small business, MWBE, where we are now, we have to begin to think strategically, looking at long-term strategic goals, looking at the overall picture of what is happening in the world, looking at our industry and what's happening, and looking at your market and what's happening at the same time. And so I pose, the question to Keisha, what are some strategies or what are some thoughts that you would have as we talk about strategic planning? Turn your mic on.
Thank you, Michael, for asking me that question. So two frameworks came to mind when I thought about strategic planning, and that is, looking at a Pastel analysis. So Pastel meaning, political, economical, social, technological, economic, and legal, created by a Harvard professor, Francis Aguilar, back in the 1967. So he used this tool as a business scanning tool to understand and extract data from the business environment. And with that information, help drive different decisions, and from those decisions, strategies and goals get created with that. So the second framework that I looked at is a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, which is created by management consultant Albert Humphrey at Stanford Research Institute back in the 1960s. So there's a couple different frameworks that, when you're thinking about strategic initiatives, they have to drive from strategic data, which comes from these types of strategic analysis, to help executives and individuals be able to create and align the vision and mission for those strategic initiatives based off of that, those type of analysis. So, and from there, it helps them to be able to set strategic goals. So I hope those two different frameworks kind of help individuals start to look at and start to gather, feedback for their assumptions.
Yeah. So my hope is that, obviously business owners, small businesses, MWBs have done their homework on the front end and obviously done strategic planning prior to COVID in getting started. Now it's important for them to revisit that strategic plan and make some adjustments. And certainly the tools and information that you have shared, Keisha, will be helpful to them as they revisit their strategic plan and they focus themselves on where they are currently and the challenges that they're facing currently as well. And so you shared some impactful information that I believe is going to be very helpful to businesses navigating COVID. And so as we shift over to Consuela, certainly Consuela, you can feel where businesses are at this moment. Why do I say that? Because you're a business owner having to navigate COVID-19. So this is near to your heart, and you're 8 weeks in the saddle and having to have some experience now in maneuvering and adjusting the business that you lead. And so I believe that you can be helpful to our audience in regards to the challenges that they're experiencing because of the experiences that you have had. Can you speak to that?
Well, yes, the entire industry. I mean, I'm sure every business owner, some kind of way, has definitely been impacted, right? Whether you have a brick and mortar business, whether you're virtual, whatever is going on. And I definitely could see this 8 weeks changes. And I'm so thankful that I had a strategic plan, and that
Sure.
we look at it, and not just something that you write down, and then don't look at it again. You have to constantly be looking at it and reviewing, where you are in the process. And I'm very thankful that we were able to do that, and even our clients, because we do strategic planning, and we offer
Uh-huh.
financial planning as well. And so those who knew, because the SWOT analysis, not the SWOT analysis, but the one analysis, you got to look at the political arena, what's going on around you.
That's
Because
right.
a lot of
That's
these
right.
things we were able to see coming before it really hit in a
Sure.
different way. So to be ready, to really see what's going on in your industry and do your homework. It doesn't matter what
Right.
industry you're in. So being able to do that, it was very helpful for us to be able to pivot. You had to, who knew though you would need masks and have
Yeah.
lights all over in the waiting areas and in
Yeah.
your, everywhere, right? So, but
Yeah.
you just stay ready, and you just continually to be watching out for your what your strengths, what your weaknesses are financially, what is your market need. And so for us, we were able to go virtually with a lot of tools that we already had in place, because just trying to keep our team safe as well as our
Sure.
customers and still grow. So we had to just kind of look and see what can we do to still give great customer service, to
Right.
to still again meet our mission, meet our vision, and then and carry those things out. And that's what you just have to do as a business owner.
Yeah. So important to look at the big picture and the overall picture
Mhm.
as well, as you talk about navigating, the challenges that businesses are facing. Certainly, that which you have faced as well. You're no different than any other business in our community, nor around the world. Every business is experiencing some sort of challenge, and it's
Yes.
not a challenge that any of us brought on. And we shouldn't be embarrassed. We shouldn't feel some kind of way at this point. I know fear has addressed us in some senses, but we've got to get beyond that now because we have a business to run. And this is not the first challenge that we've had. We just a few years ago, 2008, 2007, 2009, we had an economic downturn. Businesses were affected. So there have been challenges and crises that have evolved over a long course of time. This one, probably way different than any other crisis in that it has shut us down and brought us to a screeching halt in a lot of senses. And back to a point you were making as well, Consuelo, about now having to wear masks and use hand sanitizer and wash our hands for 20 seconds or more, and all the other restrictions. We've got travel restrictions, which I'm sure has affected your business like it has every other business in the community and around the world. And there are other restrictions that have caused for this as well to affect many businesses. And so as we look at that, it's important to know what position you can attain during and after the pandemic. So when I talk about that, it's important to make smart strategic decisions. It's as well, we must understand our organization's position in its environment, and we have to know what role we play in the ecosystem as well.
Exactly.
Takesha, can you speak to that?
Yes, thank you, Michael. And you're right. Making smart decisions is very key. But I'd like to add to that also, ensuring your options are versatile.
Sure.
Trying not to pigeonhole yourself only to be
Yes.
able to do one thing,
Yes.
and to make sure the services and different things like that you would like to offer or are currently offering are relevant to your customer base. Because as your needs and different things shifted when you revisited the business continuity plans, the needs of your customers,
Right.
information and buying power has shifted as well too.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
so to your other note, you understanding the organization's position in our environment. One of the things about the tollway is, we are the front runners. We realize we're the front runners. We offer turnkey solutions in our market, and we do that through continuously innovating in our approaches. And to the other note that you mentioned, knowing what role you play in your ecosystem. So understanding my role as a subject matter expert, as a project practitioner, the last few years, as businesses have brought me on to join their organization, have asked me to develop digital project management offices for them. How are we going to manage, our strategic initiatives to execution? Who's going to help implement these ideas and plans in a unifying and a collective and balancing way, so that they're measurable, they're concise, and things are accurate. And so that's where some of the elements that I was able to touch upon on some of your comments there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Consuela,
Yeah.
you as well, how would you share with us some information on that?
Well, I just believe it's important all the way through that people continue, especially, women in business, minority business owners, that you are always looking at what it is you can grow strategically. What is your mission? As it evolves, if things change, like in this dynamic, this is a beautiful time,
Sure.
to really go back and look at, your mission. What is so that's that first, articulating your plan, right?
Right.
Is it still the same plan, but really go through and look at your mission, look at what your goals and your objectives are. Are you still going to be able to are you still going to be able to achieve those things, even though with the environment is going on? And it's okay. It's okay to be able to change a little bit. It's okay to just breathe and think about, okay, what are we going to do next?
Sure.
And bring your entire team on board, rather that's just you, right? But follow through, or if that, in every step of the way, look at how we're going to achieve these different things. Look at, even logically, is this going to work? So, and there's a step, this again is what we do, and we can really help, set up a discovery call for anyone that needs assistance with that, to really talk about strategically, where am I at and where do I need to go from this, and how do we be able to continue to succeed in the market, because that's the name of the game. We're in business to progress. For me, we're in business to build a legacy and build wealth for not just our own firm, right, but for the community as a whole. And so we need to strategically be thinking about these are the things you do, not just being a practitioner in your business. Like for me, it could be really easy for me just to get caught in just doing the taxes of the business or doing the accounting or payroll. You got to work your business. You got to really pull out those plans, right, and always be updating things, always revisit those, your ideas, your thoughts, what does your market look like today? Very key to really touch on that and just go for it. But talk to your market, find out what they're going through, how they're feeling. You have to really, you got to do your homework. That's just the thing about being in business is you see a 60-second commercial with someone in business. It seems like it's a wonderful, easy thing, right? But when everyone else is asleep, if you're really thriving in your business, you're still up, right? You're getting up before everyone goes to work, and you probably sleep when everyone goes to bed, because you got to strategically understand what's best for your business and then also make it run.
Yeah, very good. So important to know your position. I've been watching the past couple Sundays, The Last Dance, talks about Michael Jordan and them winning several championships. And what I've learned from that, certainly being an ex-athlete myself, is to know your position. So it's important for a business in this pandemic to know their position, where they are in the crisis, and where do they want to be at the end of the crisis as well. And so that means you've got to sit down and have some thought on those kind of things. And it may mean that you need to connect to individuals or companies, firms like yours, Consuela, that can help you to navigate the crisis, knowing where you are and how the end will be as well. As we talk about that, it's certainly important to talk about bounce back. And what is your plan for bouncing back? And so I would ask Consuela that you kind of help us as a small business, as a MWBE, to talk about and to have some tidbits in regards to bounce back. Of course, it's important to have a plan or a course of action that points me in the way to the position that I plan and hope to attain. And then as well, what you must do to get through the crisis and go back to business when it ends as well is important to look at. Consuela?
Well, when you talk about bounce back, very good question, Michael. Thank you so much. We want to make sure that you were propelling forward always, right? Whatever it is that we're doing. So in that, I've just been really encouraging individuals and business owners, in this time of shutdown, if you will, and social distancing, but really examine yourself, really examine your state where you are. And so if you feel like you need some rest, I would say rest. If you feel like you need to, gotta say it, I don't know what people lay at, but if you feel you need to rest in the word and get a little bit more deeper into your understanding, your purpose in life, read the word. If that means spending time with family, and also when it comes to your business, if it really means that you need to really examine, because sometimes you get started and it just take off, and the next thing you know, it's 10, 20, 15, 15 years later. But take a moment bouncing back and examine where you are right now. And I want to talk to the business owners. 9 times out of 10, I can guarantee you one of the things that you need to really bounce back with and get in order is your financials. Have you been really keeping up with your receipts, your profit and your loss, right? Have you keeping up with your income? Are you getting your bank statements reconciled? Because when your business is in order, when you truly know financially each month, from month to month, day to day, week to week, what your income looks like, what are your expenses for the month, the more empowered you are to make decisions, the more empowered you are to bounce back. And even right now, we may talk a little bit more about the Paycheck Protection Program, and all of those things. Those who were able to smoothly get assistance already had their business in order, meaning their financials, but those who had to, scrape a little bit or understand or were under a little bit more distress because they didn't have their balance sheet and their profit and loss statement, statement in order. So again, bouncing back, I can definitely say and encourage every business owner out there to just make sure your financials are in order. Is a good way, a solid way to get started. We're already in May, right? So we already got 5 months to catch up on, but I'm telling you, and I promise you, when you do those things, you really see your business propel forward. And if we bouncing back, we got to propel forward, right?
That's right. Yeah, thank you so much. Takesha, would you share your thoughts on that?
Thank you, Michael. So one of the ways, so let me take a step back. Majority of the people who are out of work currently now are either going back to work. Some may not, especially if they're in the professional service side of the business and different things like that. So reinventing yourself, reinventing not just yourself, but reinventing processes, your talent, maybe restructuring talent within your organizations to try to, align different skill set towards people's strengths so that they can perform optimally within your organization to give you the best solutions possible to help your organizations grow. So that's one way to plan, sitting down with those individual stakeholders who are shakers and movers, as you say, Michael, and really having a conversation with them and setting goals. The biggest question now is who is going to be doing this? So that's the biggest question, because a lot of projects and plans lack accountability. And when you do not have accountability, you're not really sure on when it's going to get done and who it's going to get done by. So a lot of investors look at that. They look at, how they spend their money. And now things are being forced to be broken down to a more detailed scope so that when people who are looking at the financials and the project financials and different things like that, they want to make sure they know where their money is being spent at. Also, you asked a question, what you must do to get through the crisis and go back to business when it ends. We're all being tasked by our governors. I'm in the middle of 2 different governors And ensuring, ensuring we're following the guidelines, making sure that we're safe. So before we as individuals and business owners step out, it's up to us to do a risk assessment as well, on how we're going to keep our families safe, our friends safe, our community safe, and the whole extrapolation of how things can spread. And so, and spend time getting healthy, take this time to get healthy. And
thank you for that tidbit.
Yeah, Antonius Northern, he talked about how he ran for 30 minutes the other day. So I thought that was great, get healthy and get out the house a little bit. No one said you can't go to the park and go running or anything like that. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, important tidbits that both of you have shared with us that I believe small businesses and NWBEs can utilize in this time of crisis that they're experiencing. And I'm hopeful that they're taking notes and or will extrapolate this information and use it to their benefit during this time. So important to be prepared to execute. I've been part of a lot of projects, and I understand the importance of having people around you as well, having an understanding of that personally, the importance of execution. If we're talking about strategic planning, we've got to take what's on paper or wherever we have placed it, and now we have to execute that plan. And many times, if we're not knowledgeable or equipped to do that, then we have to hire someone or people who can help us to execute a plan. And so it's important for that business owner to be prepared to execute plans and projects. They will need to assess their organization's preparedness as well. And so, Takesha, your thoughts in regards to that piece.
Thank you, Michael. So besides working for the Tollway, I also am an owner here of a business in Indiana and in Illinois. Both are state certified XPE firms that are technology driven. We realize that we can't have the face-to-face meetings. We can't run to someone's cubicle and ask where they're at on a specific project. And so we provide those project management service through remote deployment. And that was the plan that the business continuity plan that was created out of assessing everything that's been going on due to COVID. And we're prepared to deploy and from anywhere and anytime from a strategic planning and project execution standpoint.
Sure. Yeah, thank you for sharing with us that information. And so, Consuela, your thoughts on knowing how prepared I am to execute. Unmute yourself, Consuela. There you go. Thank you, ma'am.
I believe to really understand how prepared your business is, you got to just remember what's your end result. What is it that we're trying to accomplish? What is our goal? Rather it's the month, rather it's, the quarter, annually, or your big plan, right? 10, 15, 25 years. And so when you understand your end result, I always say start with the end in mind. Sure. Then you're able to really understand again, who need to be doing what, and being able to hold them accountable. You also want to make sure that you're looking at the health of your business, especially right now with COVID-19. Like realistically, how many people can I bring on and bring back to work if they're laid off and still be able to, give great customer services? That's one of your strengths. Again, what are your objectives? For us is being given great, accurate service, right? We want to make sure we have customer service on point. So we look at those things and say, how can we still uphold our standards, with still not making sure everyone is still safe, but making sure everyone is still being covered.
Right.
so again, so the preparedness for any type of business, you just want to look at what it is for your company, what it is that you need to do, but it's all about being prepared and executing it. And it doesn't have to be this big, huge, drawn out plan, right?
Sure.
For us, preparedness was literally making sure that we planned our clients to come in. We spaced them out when they came in just to drop off.
Got it.
Assured, there were no more, face-to-face, interviews, contact, which was tough. We're used to giving our hugs and our loves and our high fives when they accomplish their goals, right? So, but planning that out to make sure that we keep our staff safe and them safe. So again, it doesn't have to be complicated. Please don't complicate the situation, because that will be hard, someone from doing it. But keep it simple. Be true to your heart and what your business needs, what your customer base needs, and then also what your team and your employees need, and just prepare and then execute it.
Yeah, very good. I heard you, Consuela, talk about the facility that you purchased, and there was something that was a part of that facility that you didn't think much of, or that you would ever have to use it. And COVID hit. And it became apparent that you could utilize that piece to your advantage. Would you talk about that just a bit?
Yes. I've been really sharing this with my testimony, literally because of how, even in business, you're talking about that strategic plan. And for me, one of those things is always, I always allow the word of God to be a part of my plan. And what does he say? Because I know I'm here in walking in that purpose of what he has gifted me to do. And so 15 years ago, I guess about 15 years, we bought our first commercial building. And there was this beautiful, it's a really beautiful window, big window we could use with little, can't think of what it's called right now. I'm getting a blank, but just little indents where we could pass things underneath, right? And but we really had no use to it, because again, we like the personal space, right? Very corporate America systems and structure in place in our firm, but yet we do love the be able to contact with one another, be able to talk to our client base. And I remember when we first purchased it, we purchased from a gentleman. He thought about how this location was a cash cow for him, but when you go in there, you see this big window, right, that you can't get through. Then there was bars on the window on another side for no reason. So we took those bars down. We were able to, talk to our clients, but we never had a use for this big window. We put, positive sayings up there. We've done all these different things we could do, right? We put curtains up to it. And now, now with COVID-19, we were able to still service our clients, right? Still be able to talk to them. We had our waiting area would be where, again, we assured that not too many people would be in a waiting area at a time. And then my staff was able to be on the other side, and just being protected when we were protecting one for another. So again, when you're strategically planning out your business, just really listen to your distinct natural ability. What is that thing that you're doing that's leading, guiding, and directing your steps? Because when you listen to it, literally right now, because I know for a certainty, I would have closed our office, which means there was a lot of clients that wouldn't have been able to process, their accounting to get this payroll protection plan done. There's a lot of clients that wouldn't have been able essentially to get their refunds, to get the essential things they need in their homes, because I would not have been able to prepare my firm to make sure that my staff was safe, but because of that, we were able to put some things in place, and to where it's just been a win-win situation, and we've been able to be open. So I'm thankful for that. And again, as you plan, as you strategize on what your business is going to look like today and 15, 20 years later, just make sure you're being honest with yourself, honest with the spirit that reigns within you, right? To do the best thing for yourself, your staff, your customers, the community, and you won't regret it. There will always be a win-win-win situation like that. So thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. And it just shows to the fact that, as you have made adjustments with your strategic plan and looking at that, how you were able to utilize something that was you never thought about 15 years ago when you purchased the facility, and now you're using it to your advantage. It's a part of your strategic plan in keeping your customers, your clients, as well as your employees safe.
Exactly.
And so that's the thing that I was certainly looking to bring out, because those kind of things can happen at a moment's notice. And I'm sure, as you got into COVID-19 on the front end, it may not have come to the forefront, but as you got into it, boom, look at what we have here.
So utilizing your resources, and that was one of the things, I really wanted to say, utilizing your resources, no matter what they are. Resources doesn't necessarily always only have to be finances, which is great. But again, anything that you have, utilize those resources that you're. I think one of the things I've been really sharing with my staff and my family is waste not, want not, right? So look at what we already have, and pull it all together. What do we have that we can still utilize, right, to still stay safe, still run this business without having to utilize our cash flow? So again, look at your resources from a different mindset and understand what do you have right now that you don't necessarily have to go and necessarily buy some things. You may already have what you need right there. So
yeah, those are my grandmother tidbits. Thank you for sharing that. Takesha, you want to expound some on that as well? I saw you writing and taking some notes there. It may be some things that you want to share with us. You'll want to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Michael. No, I think Consuela hit it right on the head in regards to maximizing the different resources. And she's right. It doesn't have to always be financial. It could be, equipment. It could be people. It could be, numerous various other things as well too. If there's facilities and she's got extra office space, maybe she can rent something out to another struggling small business owner or entrepreneur, and they both can have a win-win. They got a place, they got an office to be able to hook up to, and then she has now a renter. So I think all those are very very good. I'm a big Stephen Covey fan, so I went through the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Leaders. So I'm definitely have those different principles embedded in me as well. So when she talked about the begin with the end in mind and different things like that. But another thing came to mind is synergy. When you're working with different entrepreneurs, small business owners, medium and large and so forth, it's always going in with a servant leadership and meeting their needs and positioning yourself to be a solution in the market. Is how folks on my end are able to survive in building and teaming agreements. Realizing that this is not one dimensional. A lot of the things and expertise are going to come from other folks throughout my organization, and maybe I don't employ, but definitely the contracts are in place to be able to execute. And even with the tollway as well too, we realized that our business continuity plans were not where they should have been, and now they are. And so we're definitely preparing and have prepared to catapult to a different level even after COVID-19. So again, as I mentioned earlier, as we are I'm on the professional services side dealing with different systems and technology. We're in the cloud. We're in the cloud. We have remote teams globally. They're not just here in the U.S. They're internationally based as well too. So dealing with those types of engineering concepts as well too, to be able to make things happen at a local, state, and federal level.
Yeah. Thank you for being open and honest today. What you just shared, you said that your plans weren't where they needed to be. And many times, especially in this time, our MWBEs, our small businesses, their plans aren't where they should be. So that's not something to be embarrassed about. That's something you can certainly work on in the midst of all of this, in the midst of all of this, and make some adjustments, you said, to be able to create an opportunity to go to the next level, the next realm, next dimension. And so you sharing with that kind of openness, I'm hopeful it's been helpful to the small business and MWBEs that have joined us to not feel bad about where they are. Because what has COVID done, as any other crisis has done, is shed the light on areas where we may be weak, or where we may have not done our due diligence, right? And so now we have a chance to make adjustments and to do better. My grandmother used to say, when you know better,
you do better.
Thank you so much. I thank you for the amen choir. You do better. And so things happen. Again, none of us nor anyone in this world has brought COVID on in the sense of creating this problem that we have had over the past 8 weeks. And so it's important for us not to take this personally, but to take it as an opportunity to adjust ourselves at this time and implement some game-changing solutions that will cause for us, back to a point Takesha made, go to another level. So I think what you shared with us has been so helpful, at least in my opinion. And I appreciate what you shared and your openness and candidness as well.
Yeah. Michael, can I join in?
Yes, go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, hi, my name is Larry King. I'm the Contract Compliance Administrator on the Diversity and Inclusion team. Just want to say it's great to have two successful business MWBEs on our today. Consuelo Hopkins, I enjoyed your information about the SWOT analysis, and you're doing a great job with your accounting firm here in South Bend. And also with you, Takesha McLean, you're successful with your business and the IT professionalism, and working with the Illinois Highway Patrol, and that you're doing a great job. So I think our audience and I was really engaged in the information you provided was very helpful. As Michael mentioned, back in 2007, 2008, 2009, we were in a recession. And I think we're heading in that direction again right now, which is 2 consecutive quarters of economic decline. And the key word is strategic planning. And I think you guys shared some good examples. How do we move forward in planning after this COVID-19, this recession is moving forward? So I just want to thank you for providing that information and what you shared. And then our audience is also thankful, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, so Larry has joined our office as well, and we're looking forward to Larry's expertise, certainly working for Work One for a number of years. And so we look forward to him sharing some things with our business community and helping us to impact them as we move forward as an office as well. So we talk about be prepared to learn and pivot. I enjoy learning, and my hope is that business owners have that same mentality, that it's important to learn as you go. Most especially during the challenging times now that things have come somewhat to a screeching halt, but we are kind of evolving and moving past COVID in some senses also. But it's also an opportunity for our business community to take an opportunity to take advantage of learning opportunities such as this webinar. There are other resources out there that are being shared with our community and people across the world as well. But not only to learn, but as you are learning, to pivot. There may be some tidbits or information, even that's been shared between Takesha and Consuela, that will help you to pivot as well. And so, given the rapidly changing environment that you are working in, we want to make sure that we measure, monitor, and we formally review our progress as well. Initially, we should be working off assumptions. Certainly, that's the case. And as you test them in the real world, you will have more data and experience to prove or disprove them. Based on what you learn, adjust both your vision and your strategy. How important, ladies, is it to our business community, small businesses and MWBEs, to learn at this time and then as well pivot? Consuela?
Oh, wow. Wonderful, wonderful question. Now, I think it's very important that right now people need to really learn as much as they need to. I mean, but it's just the basics of running a business. You always want to be on top of, you want to be the expert, right, in your industry, no matter what it is that you're doing. So you always want to make sure that you're reading up on the latest technology, right? You always want to make sure that you're reading up on what it is that your clients need. What are their thoughts? You know, what have their needs changed from since you've been in business? I always read up to be whatever that one thing you talked about weaknesses earlier, and I'm very thankful for the things that COVID-19 showed us in our firm. You know, we have several different businesses and all our business across the board. The little things, you know, where one was strong, the other one was weak, but what it was. So now we have a chance to get strong in that area. I believe and I hope that everyone takes advantage of doing that, to really look at what it is, you know, that is your challenge point, what it is that you can't assure of, but learn about it and just read. Become the expert in your field is what I'd say. You know what everyone is going to be asking the questions to. You know, think ahead. You know, be proactive. I'm very big on being proactive versus reacting to a situation.
Sure.
You
So
know,
important.
and again, and I want to put this out here again for those who may have missed it in the beginning, that, you know, we do offer, you know, strategic calls, what we call a discovery call for this. We just simply go to our social media, all the social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and just do hashtag, you know, Good Money Multiplier, and you'll find, you know, the Good Money Multiplier. And let's have a conversation on what it looks like for you to ensure, right? To ensure that you are going to be growing and just soaring economically, you know, to prosperity and to wealth, because that's the point of being in business. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's huge. Takesha?
Thank you, Michael. I'm definitely big on learning and growing and developing in all areas, personally and professionally as well. You know, understanding the different environments and understanding what tools can be improved upon. So if it takes individuals, to go through a quick training module to learn how to do a Visio diagram, something that they've never learned how to do before, you know, that's great, you know. And I think this, even though a lot of people may be complaining about the time, you know, the time is giving us grace to be able to sit back and self-reflect on some of the things that we can improve upon for ourselves. And then when we're positioned back into whatever old position or new position that you're propelled to serve in, then, you know, you have something more to offer for that organization and those around you.
Yes. Yeah. Very well said.
Wow. Very good. Larry, did you have something you wanted to expound upon there?
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, the advice that you shared with our audience would greatly help our business environment moving forward. You know, as a contract compliance administrator, you know, and I have to look at the pre and post award compliance, you know, with the city of South Bend inclusive and procurement. This helped me in my decision making and said, you know, how do I expound and look at the businesses moving forward? So I just appreciate all the information that you guys shared, you know, with our audience. And, you know, we will continue our conversations in the future, I'm sure. just wanted to say thank you again, and being our first guest, and you know, for our webinar. I think we started off on the right foot. Michael, you did a great job of facilitating, asking the right questions, and so I just want to thank you guys for participating.
Thank you so much, Larry. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. So I want to bring us to the place of you both sharing your final comments. Certainly, as Larry has made mention, you both have been impactful, and we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule today to come and help us, not only us, but also helping our business community also, and MWBEs. This was just mind-blowing, in my opinion, to be able to have two experienced individuals come share such impactful information.
Yes.
And I appreciate your concern, your sincerity, and the heartfelt answers and information that you've given as well. Takesha, closing comments? Unmute yourself. There you go. You're muted. There you go.
Thank you, Michael, and to your staff who has worked very hard to pull all this together. I know this wasn't easy, and just appreciate everything you guys do on your end. If no one tells you they appreciate you, I certainly do. With your office and everyone that supports you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank
Consuela.
Well, I too want to just really thank you. I mean, just heartfelt thank you to everyone, Larry and Antonis and Michael, everyone, even behind the scenes to make this happen, because it's important. It is so important that through this time that we come out together stronger as a community financially, and especially our businesses. That is our key. That's our the heart to the situation right now, right? Because we want to make sure that they keep their employees, you know, keep them growing, you know, that we understand how to be strategic in this time. Always make what may have happened, something that happened tragically to our country, to our finances, to even those who may have lost in this time, but to come out of it even stronger, then it's a win-win. And each of those, I wanted to just really make sure that I pointed out, we also have, we have 14 studio office spaces, you know, that I want to make sure that people know that is available right here on Lincoln Way. For those who may be tired of working from home, you always thought you wanted to work from home. Well, COVID-19 showed us, do we really want to work from home, right? So when we come out of this, we do have, it's called Suela's Studios, where we do have office spaces for individuals, practitioners, small business owners who really just want a professional space to do their right, you know, so just keep us in mind with that. You know, our office number is 574-287-1040, like the tax form, right? 574-287-1040. And again, let us know if there's anything we can do to help propel you to the next level. Your finances must be a part of your strategic plan, and we're here to help you in any way that we can to make sure that happens. So thank you for having us.
Now, Consuela, is there an address that you'd like to share? You shared your number. What was your?
Our address is 2217 Lincoln Way West here in South Bend, Indiana, 46628 is a zip code, and we're literally worldwide. We have clients worldwide. So even when people are doing a strategic plan, it doesn't matter where you are. And I'm so thankful for our Michiana area, right? You know, but we literally, you can do business anywhere. Just Just dream it. If it's in your heart to do it, put it down on paper and let us help you make it a reality.
All right.
Yeah, very good. Would you share your email address as well?
Sure. So my email address is CDH. So Charlie, David, Harry @consuelas.com. CONSUELLAS.com.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Takesha, we would love for you to share your information in regards to how people can get a hold of you also. So could you give us that information?
My phone number is 574-315-6988. And my email address is tmcclane@gs1consulting.com. And that's the number one is not spelled out one.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you both
Thank you.
for sharing your information with us and with our audience as well. This has gone out over Facebook, and certainly those who have joined us on the webinar today was able to receive your information, and we appreciate your thoughts. We appreciate the solutions that you've given to us that will help us through this crisis and how we navigate moving forward as well. Again, we're grateful that you came on the show or the webinar with us today. And as well, we look forward to many more connections because I believe we'll be in this scenario for several more weeks as we're, addressing COVID. And I believe, the effects of it will last us through 2020 into 2021. And so, but things are going to get better. And we look forward to that as well. On next week, we will be back for another webinar here on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Dr. Lance McCarthy, who is the CEO of Global 1000, will be joining us. The topic on that day will be stimulus dollars, resource options. Dr. McCarthy was a economic economist for then President Clinton. He's an individual that I met some years ago by way of the Urban League conferences that we were attending and development training opportunities that we both took part in. I've brought him to the city of South Bend a couple of different times now to work with ministries in regards to financial funding and resources out there. We've also brought him here to speak for the Hazel B. Hunter Luncheon as a speaker a couple years ago there at the Century Center. Dynamic person. He is involved around the world in helping businesses to connect to money and financial resources. And so we look forward to having him on the show next Tuesday at 11 a.m. We certainly welcome Takesha Consuelo. You're coming back. If you have opportunity, I believe this is a person that you want to get connected to and has resources that can be beneficial to you as well as our audience. Thank you so much to our audience for coming to join us, whether you're on Facebook or whether you joined us by way of the webinar. We are appreciative that you took time out to receive the information that was shared by Consuela Hopkins and as well Takesha McClain. They've shared some powerful information that I believe was impactful and informative to each of you as you're navigating COVID-19. We hope that you'll take the tidbits and the information that was shared and use them to your best interest as you're navigating this pandemic crisis as well. So thank you so much to my staff, Larry King and Antonius Northern, for their support in pulling all of this together and executing the plan that we put in place for the next several weeks to impact the businesses of our community and even businesses around the world, actually, because we've gone out on social media, so we're able to reach businesses outside of our own community. And so I'm thankful to them and their support to this show as well. All right, we've come to the close. Thank you again for your being a part of the show. Have a good day. Hope to see you actually this coming Thursday. I said next Tuesday.
Yes,
and so
Thursday.
I gave an incorrect date. This Thursday at 11 a.m. Dr. McCarthy will be joining us at 11 a.m. And so we look forward to our next webinar, which will take place this coming Thursday. Thank you all again. Have a great rest of the day.